Hello, um, got back. So this game really likes to crash whenever you are just go to the menu or whenever you die. So there's like a bug where, at least for me, where whenever I die or go to the main menu, it just crashes instantly. It's like code, something. Um, but we are back. We have finished the game. I just had wanted to say my final thoughts. This is the final part to this series, and we achieve the what they call it, the water ending, where he basically, in speculation, he probably killed himself, drove himself into a, a river, and then just ended himself. So pretty tragic, but hey, he just couldn't get over his death of his wife. It's understandable. He did plenty of bad stuff. I still have to look at what everything he's done. I think from the speculation that my friend told me, he essentially had sex with a bunch of girls while his wife was just dying from a sickness or cancer, whatever it was. So he was off getting his dick wet while his wife was dying and sending him love letters and saying, this is so frustrating. Awful. Not only that, Mary, you saw she's a stripper and apparently has an immense attachment to James, like someone she wanted to start a family with, maybe, or maybe James has bought into this lifestyle that she just vibed with. I don't know, but the fact that she was the final boss of the game was probably her trying to lure him in and say, "Forget your wife. Think about me. Let's start a family. I don't care about Mary. Care about me," which is interesting. Um, so Laura, I'm guessing that's James's daughter, if I'm be quite frank, and then the other two, Eddie and then Angela, they both done things that they weren't proud of. I'm guessing Angela killed her mom, maybe, or maybe the father did, but then she killed her father, and then Eddie, you saw he had a gun. He shot or killed anyone who made fun of him because he became insecure. So I can't really explain the whole universe behind Silent Hill. I'm guessing it's just a story about a person's mental struggles in their own isolated hell made from somewhere. Very interesting. The story was great. It's a great concept. I think the performance was great. This dreamlike world filled with nightmare monsters and the whole map just changing and all that stuff. It was great stuff. And you can get cartoonish with how little things just change and the just like the rooms you entered in evolving and turning disgusting and all that stuff. It's interesting. The enemies, terrifying looking, disgusting. And we didn't really see Pyramid Head, the guy holding the big sword. The last we saw of him was, or the last time you could fight him was, I believe, when you went down into that underground basement area, or like the basement area. I think you could kill him there, but I'm not completely sure. Um, or you might be able to kill him when you were in that narrow space where you had to navigate front and back. I don't know which part you could kill him in, but I know you can kill him. So there's that. Now, I am not an achievement hunter. I probably won't go back in and start playing and seeing if I can get all the achievements, unless they're unless the achievements aren't too hard to get, I probably won't. I'm just not the type of person who goes back in and plays and all that stuff. I want to experience so many games, and plus, I just don't have time for that. If I was like a hardcore gamer, I'd probably lean towards doing that, especially for this game. But since I have other passions and just not like a whole bunch of time, I want to give other games like the next game that I'm going to focus on series, Expedition 33. That will be so much fun. Or if I don't end up doing that, Indiana Jones, The Lost Ark from the Disney game that came out last year. I'll do that one. So be on the lookout for which other series I'm about to upload. Uh, I'll slowly put out videos for this one, probably like weekly. Uh, but this is the end of the road for this game. It was such a fantastic game. Um, it was a proper challenge. Uh, the whole environment, just like the chilliness, the scary rooms. It used sound, visuals, and um, other means of making you feel uncomfortable and just putting you in these positions that make you feel vulnerable instead of just giving you cheap jump scares like a ton of games rely on. Jump scares, they work in the short term, but they fade pretty quickly once you get used to them. Like Five Nights at Freddy's, even though that game's popular, those jump scares they fade after a few times of experiencing it. This game's horror is so much more, has so much depth to it, that you can't just simply piss away at it. There's so many layers to the characters, like what James has experienced and the whole world that surrounds him, and then the fear factor that is also a part of it. Um, that is just layers of lore and then this horror just leaking from this game. I very much appreciate this style of horror because it really makes you think and then just feel bad about the characters and their circumstances, and also, and not only that, just the way their lives ended. Now, I'll probably look up some different endings to see how the story plays out. I know probably James lives for another one, or maybe I'm not sure how many endings there are. There might be like 5. So, but I'm not the one to go out there and try to check it out. So, um, this is the only ending I'll probably turn out for myself. I'll probably look up the others, and then I'll also see if I could kill Pyramid Head. Um, but yeah, this has been a fantastic game. I have to say, the gunplay was great. I think carrying like 3, 4 weapons, I think that's fine enough. Juggling weapons would have took away from the experience, and now you're trying to juggle strategies of killing enemies. That's not the focus here. The focus is you experiencing hell for what you did, and that's tremendous. Um, and the puzzles, oh yeah, the puzzles, man. Another great factor to horror games is the puzzles, the stuff that you have to figure out while you're dealing with a bunch of crap. Great, great, great. Now, I had the settings set to like pussy level. Well, they weren't the hardest puzzles in the world. There's a setting where you can have the puzzles a bit higher in difficulty. That one I probably won't look up, just in case I want to play back the game. There's might be a case where I do. But yeah, the puzzles were great. I loved it. The pacing of the game. You had parts where you looked around the city. Then you had parts where you looked around the apartment buildings, then the apartment buildings to the hospital, then the hospital to um, I think it was like a garden area for a little bit, and then after you left the garden, you went and gone to the docks to go to. No, you went to the prison afterwards. Then after the prison, you went to this house, like this whole hotel thing. So, um, It's a little long. I would say you get a good amount of game into this. Um, I bet you can just speed run it. This was a good game, and I'm glad it did feel a little bit long to me, but to be honest, I think this is good for your bang for your buck. So yeah, this the graphics are also pretty good. I didn't have my graphics up to the highest level because I wanted to record at the same time, and I don't know how that would have affected my game. So yeah. Anyway, this game was fantastic. If I had to give it a rating out of 10, I would give it an 8.5. I think it's between an 8 and a 9. I did have glitchy graphics. There were quite a few bugs, and obviously the crashing was problematic. Um, Very problematic. Another thing was the fighting in this game got a little repetitive at a certain point. Um, there's just times when you fought way too much. Um, just the way you handled action, shooting or evading and hitting an opponent, yeah, it got pretty repetitive. The enemy variance also could have increased at least like two more enemies. Um, I think there might have been just enough, but I don't know. Um, I guess it's fine enough. They didn't want to turn it up to T. The boss fights were solid. They weren't the best. The strategies weren't really sophisticated. It's just like shoot it until it dies. Most of the enemies were pretty slow. So I wish there was more things you could have done to strategize against bosses. I think that would have been good. And what else? Finding stuff was fun. Looking throughout the map. Yeah, it was all great. But those are some of my issues. I can't think of every problem at the moment. Um, but there weren't too many issues with the game to where I had a hard, pause to it. But those were some of my issues with it. Um, and but I definitely believe the good outweighs the bad. Even though it did have crashes, it was only when I died, and I didn't die that often. I even died on purpose so that I could potentially get my stuff. So really, it should be 6 deaths. So it should be 6, not 7. But seven's lucky. I'll take that. Um, yeah, great game, awesome. 8.5. This has got me into the Silent Hill series. I'm gonna do more research and see what else is out there for this type of game. It's really fun. But yeah, that's about it. And those were my thoughts on Silent Hill 2. Uh, be on the lookout for more videos. Like again, Expedition 33 or Indiana Jones, the Ark of Time, or the Ark, Lost Ark, something like that. Um, those will be the 2 games next. I already have one video recorded from that, and it should be out by the time maybe next week or so. So just be on the lookout. More shorts, and also going to be some more anime content. So just keep looking out for that. Um, yeah, I had so much fun, and hopefully I'll see you for the next series. All right, take care and stay blessed.